Hey, ladies and gents, welcome to the Controlled Interest Gamecast, where we talk about video games and everything happening in the industry, episode 126. As always, I'm joined by Dom.
Outer Worlds, Obsidian, let's go, guys. Let's freaking go.
And Jordan.
Simply irresistible.
No, this isn't the same episode as last week, though it is another pre-recorded episode. This week we're going to be talking about our predictions from last year, or technically this year, and our predictions for next year. So we're going to go over those, see who got things right, see who got things wrong, and then make our guesses for next year. So we'll see how that goes. Spoiler alert, we actually got some predictions right, which is cool. So I'm going to be going through those now, saying what all of us answered and obviously who got what right. Yeah. First up, the first prediction for 2018 was, will IO Interactive be purchased by any publisher? And if so, who? Both Dom and Jordan said no. That is correct. I obviously said yes, and I thought they would be one of Microsoft's studio acquisitions. Maybe in 2019, who knows, but didn't happen this year. So
was that a prediction or a wish?
Both. I mean, Hitman 2 didn't sell very well either this year, so it's like I assumed because I want them to be able to still continue creating games. And obviously this was a publisher deal with Hitman 2, so it was a little bit of both, if I'm being honest.
Just to make a real quick point, I think there's a lot of these franchises that are being put out in the fall, Tomb Raider, Hitman, that were bigger back in the day, or their publisher or developer thinks that they're bigger than they are, and they need to get away from this fall time because you've got new big boys playing on the field now. You're not the same, like if Splinter Cell came out in the fall, it's not going to do as well because that was a big franchise on the PS2 generation,
Well, it's weird that even Tomb Raider things that compete in the fall. I still think it's decently big, but like Uncharted doesn't even come out in the fall.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. I agree with you there. The second prediction we made: what game will get delayed until fall 2018? Dom and I actually got this right. We both said Red Dead Redemption 2. We nailed it on the head. Jordan, your prediction was you thought that Detroit Become Human was going to get delayed. Obviously, a lot of your concerns were tied into the studio troubles with the trolling and bullying that happened.
Right.
So it made sense at the time. But
Nazis fucking each other in the ass, normal stuff.
Normal stuff. Next up, how many Nintendo Directs will have been between now and next E3? So this is more of a 6-month bet. This wasn't for the whole year. This was between January and June. Dom said 5. Jordan said 4. I said 3. So technically, Jordan and I got this right because there was only 3 directs, so I got that right. Jordan said 4. There was 3 directs and an indie showcase. So if you count the indie showcase as a direct, then you technically...
I know about them Nindies, bro.
And if you count Treehouse, I guess technically there's 5, so then Dom would be right. I'm just kidding.
Well, there you go.
Treehouse is guaranteed.
Yeah, I was just making a joke.
Dom, you're an idiot. Don't listen to you.
So by this time next year, how many OG Xbox games will be backwards compatible? Dom said 10. I said 15. Jordan said 30. The actual amount of original Xbox One games on backwards compatible, 31. So I'll give that to Jordan.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Next one. This was a bit of a layup. Will we see Sucker Punch's game before 2019? We did. We saw Ghost of Tsushima. Remember that these predictions were made before PSX of last year. So,
back when that existed.
Yeah. Which I guess it doesn't matter because Ghost of Tsushima was unveiled at E3. No, it was E3, wasn't it?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Sony bouncing around with these fucking events. Who knows?
Next up. How many Wii U ports will release before next E3? Once again, this was a 6-month prediction. This wasn't a year-long thing. Dom said 1. Jordan was very optimistic and said 4. I said 2. The number of Wii U ports released between January and June of this year? 2. Tropical Freeze and Hyrule Warriors.
Oh. So, on Ghost of Tsushima, this year at E3 was the second time that we've seen it. Because it was the part where he's running through the woods and then he fights the lady in the under that red-leafed tree.
Well, yeah, this was
Whereas
so
the
it was
first-
PSX or whatever. It was we made that prediction before it was first in the
Paris Games Week last year, and for the debut trailer, and then E3 this year was gameplay.
Yeah, but we hadn't seen Sucker Punch's game before we made this bet. But we all got it right.
Trying to just push my way through the tangles of this Sony conference bullshit.
Now that's already all the bets we made. So it looks here. I'm just going to go through the quick math. So I got 1, 2, 3. I got 4 correct. Dom got 1, 2, 3 correct. Jordan got 1, 2, 3 if we count the Nintendo one, which I'm fine with counting because of the Indie Showcase. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. So me and you tied, Jordan.
Nice.
We both got 4. Dom got 3.
Battle Royale to decide the winner.
So our end of the year predictions. These are our own predictions that we had, what we thought could possibly happen for 2018. Mine were Andrew Wilson isn't CL president of EA by this time next year. I was close. Patrick Sutherland left EA this year, not Andrew Wilson. Next up, an announcement of a Marvel game we didn't know was in development. I got that right on the cusp. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So I got one of those. And my third one was there will be no virtual console on Switch, which it's up to you guys to decide. Do you count the online thing with the NES games as virtual console, or does that not count because it's not labeled virtual console? It's not what we thought it was going to be.
I think your prediction was correct, Jim.
Okay, so I got 2 out of 3 correct. Man, if just Andrew Wilson decided to leave and not Patrick Sutherland.
Because if anything, virtual console, you're choosing and buying games, whereas this is just you get what you get.
Yeah. So I got 2 out of 3 correct. These aren't really points based because we didn't have to make 3 predictions, so it wouldn't make sense for I make 3 and I get them correct, so I get 3 points. Whereas if one of you only makes 1 prediction, Dom's prediction. Dom only made 1. Dom's prediction was Death Stranding release year revealed at E3 2018. Obviously that didn't happen. Very optimistic.
Yikes.
Jordan, you have one that is up for debate, and then you have another one that is wrong. So one of yours was Virtual Console with Pokemon Coliseum. Obviously that didn't happen.
No.
That's Death Stranding release year levels of optimism. And the other one is you said Nintendo has a bigger game lineup in 2018 than 2017. Now, obviously, if we're talking about first-party exclusives, that's not the case, right? Because Zelda and Mario came out. But I wasn't sure what you meant by that. If you meant, like, a lot of good games or, like, major releases.
No, I meant, like, the breadth of games. So you have... I would say that you have more this year because you got...
Yeah, I agree.
Party,
I just wasn't sure what you meant.
Yeah, because who's to say, like... Well, what's going to be bigger than Zelda and Mario as far as like pomp and circumstance? So yeah, definitely.
But like, I mean, if a Pokemon game, Metroid game, and like Animal Crossing could compete with that because that's 3-2, and it's like if they reviewed well, and, it's critical success as opposed to like commercial success. But I agree with you. Breath of the lineup.
Pokemon and Smash are if Pokemon and Smash had come out this year, then it would rival Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, especially in sales. Pokemon sells like hotcakes. Now we're going to be hopping into our predictions for next year. So, got some interesting things here. I'm going to say the question, then I'm going to give you guys time to think about your answer, and then I'll say my answer, and then you two will go. You know what I mean? That's how it's going to work. So the first question, will the PS5, Xbox Scarlet, both or neither leak in 2019? So you have 4 different options. The PS5, Scarlet, both or neither. Think about that. My answer...
It's worth mentioning that before anything of substance actually leaked about either of these consoles, they were technically officially announced by their companies.
Yeah.
Though it wasn't like a big unveiling. It's just Microsoft saying at E3, hey, we're doing this. And then article not too long ago, an executive at Sony mentioning, yeah, we're working on PS5.
And by leak, I mean like either design stuff, specific specs of the console.
Like what we were getting about the upgrade consoles, about Pro and One X.
Exactly. Not whispers, like legitimate leaks. Yeah. We all know what that means, so we don't have to worry about that. So for me, my answer is both. I actually think both will leak in 2019. Whenever this stuff happens, we always see both. We see the consoles before they are announced. It's just the way it is, and I'm of the belief that both of these consoles are coming out in 2020. So if that's the case, that means these consoles are going out to developers, which means there's a higher chance of leaks. So for me, my answer is both. I think both the PS5 and the next Xbox are going to leak.
I should say that I have teetered over into 2020 as well. I no longer think that 2019 is the case. I think we would have more information via leaks at this point if that were going to be the case, and also just, generally the way things are going. If Sony was going to release PS5 next year, you bet they'd be doing E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's unfortunate that we're going to have to wait. These are the two longest generations. Last gen with PS3 and this gen with PS4 are both going to be about 7 years long, and so I think that's kind of ridiculous in the current age of technology. It goes against, it's like, I know it has to do some with like financials and stuff, but if you think about it, technology has only been getting better and faster and cheaper at a speedier and speedier rate, and yet the console generations have only been slowing down. So it's completely opposite of what I would consider logic and reason. But yeah, I think 2020 is where it's at, and yeah, I agree that both consoles will be leaked ahead of not their release. Well, not only their release, but their unveiling event, their big shebang.
What about you, Dom? What's your belief?
Yeah, those boys are both getting leaked.
Okay. Before we, real quick, speaking about the consoles, this isn't actually a leak. It's more of a rumor from, I forgot the name of the site. It's like Thoreau, I think, the ones that do Microsoft rumors and speculation. You'll be happy to hear, Jordan, that a new piece of information that came out this week, or in the last couple of weeks, was that Microsoft is targeting 4K 60 FPS at a bare minimum for the console.
Woo! I was saying, you weren't here, Dom, but I was saying, like, that's what we need. Like, if you want me to get pumped about next gen, I need 4K 60 straight.
Yeah.
Because I've got 4K 30 on Xbox One X. If I had that, like, I have that option already.
And apparently they're working really close with AMD, and they're going to be in their processor technology is going to be like AMD's new generation of processing stuff that they haven't even talked about yet. So
like optimized specifically for their console,
or just AMD in general, like their as a company, their new generation of like technology when they have like CS and stuff. They haven't announced that yet. So we're all in agreement on both. Next prediction. This one's what won't happen in 2019. Microsoft makes more studio acquisitions. No PSX in 2019. New Nintendo Switch hardware revision. But you can also answer all of these will happen or none of these will happen. So if you're super confident in one of these not happening, you pick that. Or you can say, no, all of them will happen. Or you can say, oh, no, none of them will happen.
Could you repeat?
Yeah.
Microsoft making more studio acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
No PSX 2019. New Nintendo Switch hardware revision. So don't think of the no PSX as like a... So what won't happen? Microsoft buying more studios, PSX happening, Nintendo Switch revision.
Those things are all true statements.
They're all happening. So you're going with all happening.
Well, yeah, the way you worded it is confusing the response.
For the PSX part.
Yeah, that's confusing.
Am I betting that PSX is happening? Or
yes.
am I betting that it's not happening?
I wrote it confusing. So I wrote it as all of these are happening. So Microsoft getting studios, PSX happening, Nintendo Switch revision. All of those are happening in this statement. Which one do you think is not happening?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. PSX is not happening in 2019.
Gotcha. That's what my prediction is too.
PSX must happen. Even if they do Paris Games Week and Tokyo Game Show, which I don't see them ever not doing Tokyo Game Show.
They didn't do it this year.
Not going. Tokyo Game Show?
Oh, sorry. I heard Paris Games Week. Sorry.
Yeah, they didn't do Paris. They
Yeah.
might not do Paris Games Week, but they will always do Tokyo Game Show.
Yes. I misheard you.
That's their home turf. You got to play ball.
So is yours all of them will happen? Is that your prediction?
No. PSX must happen because you can't miss E3 and not do PSX. I don't think, even if you do have a new console coming out, whatever. Yeah, it's just going to get too egregious. It's already really pushing, and so I think they just can't go any further with
So
that.
Jordan, my logic really quick, because you're right. I think they have a one or many events, but without the actual term PSX, PlayStation Experience, right? I still think they're going to have, at least one large, Sony-centric event with, some announcements that they put on themselves. That's my thinking. So
I could see them having an event right around the traditional time of PSX that is just the PS5 reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then what's the point of making PSX? You know what I mean? They just be like, well, you got this.
Right. Yeah. If they do that, then they won't do PSX. But I don't think that you're getting a Nintendo Switch hardware upgrade.
Got it.
Because I think that
very quick
I think
revision.
they're gonna have to jump to the next gen.
Revision is the word, Jordan, not upgrade. Revision could mean Switch that the Joy-Cons don't get removed, so it's not upgraded hardware.
Still don't think that's happening.
Okay, just clarifying.
But I'm not putting that out of my mind because obviously Nintendo does hardware revisions like it's fucking changing clothes. So
yeah.
My biggest thing is just that I feel like at some point they're gonna have to fucking face the facts and understand that going into the 2020s with that as your main flagship console is going to be rough, man. Even if they have a great library, even if they're still putting out great games, it is going to look ancient. And so I think they're going to have to jump generations quicker than they normally would have and just make it like super backwards compatible. The accessories are the same, the opposite of going from Wii U to Switch where everything goes out the door. They're going to keep everything in and you won't feel as much like you're getting dunked on just because you're not able to play these nice, hopefully fucking 1080 60 games. That would be fucking nice, Nintendo.
I think it'll be closer to like Pro and X. I don't think it'll be like the next generation for Nintendo.
Possibly.
I think it'll just be a beefier Switch in the future, not next year.
I think we'll get at least something that's maybe the processing power doesn't change, but something Nintendo where like, oh, the screen is brighter or the battery's a little better. With that kind of revision,
There's
also
certainly
seems
plenty
likely
in the Switch that could be revised, and could be made a lot better.
I'm not even that optimistic. I think we could even, just like I said, see a simple revision of like the 2DS version of the Switch, meaning like the Joy-Cons don't come off and it's a cheaper thing for people to buy.
And then, Jared, what we were talking about when Dom wasn't here, then Dom, they're going to fucking patch Mario Party so you don't have to play it with Joy-Cons.
Yeah. God, imagine if Switch made you do that. Smash made you do that. God. So just to clarify real quick, guys, I believe PSX isn't happening. Jordan believes Switch revision isn't happening, and Dom's with me on PSX. Next up, this one's a two-parter as well, really quick. Do we get a release date for Metroid Prime 4 at E3 2019? And is it still called that? I said yes and yes. I think we are getting the release date for it. That could be year or specific date. And is it still called Metroid Prime 4? I think so. The cachet with that franchise, the sub-franchise of that franchise. So, what about you guys?
I think we get release time frame or whatever. They've been doing that a lot. They're gonna say summer. That bullshit, right?
Summer 2020. That counts. That counts as release date. So yes to the first part.
Yeah, and it's Metroid Prime 4. I don't think that would change at this point. They've already announced it as that, right? So.
But Nintendo has shown logos and changed titles before, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it stays the same though. Either way.
Yeah. Jordan.
So you're wondering how close do you want me to get on release?
It doesn't matter. Just you can say specifically what you think, but the question is, do they show any?
November 13th. I think that you're gonna get that game next year, and it will be called. It's going to be called Metroid Prime 4. They might add a subtitle, but I don't think they'll take away the 4.
That counts as a yes. So if you think it's Metroid Prime 4 or something else, that still counts as a yes. So.
Sure.
Interesting. We still don't know who's developing that game, so it's going to be interesting to find out who's developing Metroid Prime 4. It's not retro. We know that. We still don't even know what Retro's game is, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. We know there's several studios that it isn't, but we don't know who it is.
Exactly. Next up, do you think we'll see a new Marvel partnership announced before 2020? So this is something we don't know. Kind of like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance thing or like a Spider-Man thing, you know. We already know about the Avengers project, so that doesn't
guaranteed.
Count. Yeah, I say yes as well. That's a yes for me as well. Yeses from all of us. I think the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 thing definitely makes me way more comfortable in saying yes. It's like they are willing to wheel and deal if people want these games. So it's so crazy. Switch exclusive Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Ultimate Alliance! I'm pumped.
Next up, will we be able to purchase a PS2 Classic, an N64 Classic, neither or both, by December 31st of next year? My answer is neither. I don't think there will be a PS2 Classic on the market or a 64 Classic on the market.
I think just 64.
Okay. Dom's just 64. Jordan?
I don't necessarily know that they're going to stop, especially with them not doing Virtual Console. But do I see them going all the way to Wii? Because Wii got like way different peripherals. You know, you can do GameCube pretty easily. So I think they'll do GameCube, and they'll probably at least take a break.
So you're saying neither then? Because I said PS2 Classic or N64 Classic.
Sorry. Which will be first?
No, it's just, will either of those release, neither or both? We'll be able to purchase it by the end of next year.
Just in 64. I don't think this PS1 Classic is going to do well for Sony. As egregious as I feel like the two Nintendo ones are at this point,
the PlayStation,
SNES, I think the PlayStation one is a slap in the fucking face. It is an abomination, the likes of which we haven't seen since Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu.
The crazy fact, like all the emulation issues, the fact like people found the tracing of the like 30-some games that could have potentially been on the system. They try to cash in on the Nintendo thing of like, oh, this is working for Nintendo, it could easily work for us. People love the PS1.
Yeah.
And they just put in minimum effort. It's crazy that when like the other classics for Nintendo came out, they were flying off shelves. You couldn't even get a hold of one. I've seen pictures upon pictures of these PS1 classics in stores just like taking up so much room because people just aren't interested in it. So I'm in either. Both of you are for the 64 Classic. Interesting. Next up, will Ubisoft have a game finish in the top 3 in NPD for annual sales in 2019? I said yes.
So I just got stuck on the funniest fucking face for a second.
Remember how well Ubisoft games sell? Division 2 comes out next year. Remember, Division 1 was one of the best-selling games when it came
Division
out.
2, you're right. Okay, that's the one I couldn't think of. But so with that, that's definitely it. They will, and that'll be the game.
Yeah, I'm yes as well. Jordan?
Will you repose the question one more time so I don't like answer an alternate question again?
Will Ubisoft have a game finish in the top 3 NPD in terms of annual sales for 2019?
Yes.
Okay, we're all in agreement there.
Where is Far Cry 5 right now? Do you know, Jared?
It's number 4. It's Black Ops.
Shit.
Black Ops, Red Dead, Spider-Man, Far Cry, I think.
Damn, an exclusive game.
It's either 3 or 4. It's
Congrats.
Spider-Man and that are like 3 and 4. I don't know which is which.
Yeah.
And then God of War is 5. I know God of War for sure is 5.
That's crazy, man.
Next up, this is an interesting one. I was going to do the negative aspect of this, but I don't really like doing that. So, what will review best? Days Gone, Dreams, Crackdown 3, or Yoshi's Crafted World?
Oh, I didn't know that was the name.
Oh, have you seen the gameplay, dude? It looks sweet.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
They started with gameplay.
Well, there was like the single level trailer, but they had a new trailer that showed like other levels and stuff like that. So,
But it's pretty similar to Woolly World, right?
Different material aesthetic, but yeah, pretty much same gameplay. So instead of wool, they're changing it out for like paper craft.
I'm gonna say Yoshi.
Yoshi, cool. For me, you know guys how much I bag on Days Gone. I actually chose Days Gone as the best reviewing game out of all of those. So.
All right, Jared, you know what you got to do here for me. There's Days Gone, Yoshi, what else?
Crackdown 3, and Dreams. I don't think Dreams is coming out next year, so beta.
We'll never know.
Yes, I think beta.
We'll get all the
will come out.
reviews and just be waiting.
I think it's gonna be Crackdown 3. I do.
Ooh.
I think if they're waiting this fucking long, they're hopefully turning a good game into a great one, and it'll be higher to mid 80 meta score, and I think the rest of them will settle at a lower 80s at the top of their.
Yeah,
at the very top.
I don't think any of these
83 maybe. Yoshi's gonna be high 70s, and then who the fuck knows about Dreams?
I don't think any of these games will be lower than a 70, and I don't think any of them will be higher than an 85. I think they'll all fit somewhere in there. Hopefully on the higher end, but yeah. Which is, it's funny that I'm the one that cracks on Days Gone the most, and I'm the one that's like, yeah, I think that one will review best. That's really funny. Yoshi's Crafted World, though, it's hard for Nintendo to put out, like a bad game. They have games that like aren't great. Like even Mario Tennis Aces, for as bad as that story mode is with its difficulty and stuff, that's still reviewed decently well. You know, it's hard for Nintendo to release a first party game that like bombs. So, next up,
kind of like Kendrick Lamar, Jordan.
Next up, which of these games won't release next year? You can say as many as you want or as little as you want, but you have to pick one at the very least. Which one won't release in 2019? The Last of Us Part 2, Metroid Prime 4, Ghost of Tsushima, Halo Infinite. For me, I'll give you guys my answer. I said everything but Last of Us Part 2 won't release.
Yeah, none of those games are coming out next year.
So you're none of them. None of them will release. Got it. Jordan? I'm with you, Dom, but I just wanted to pick one that will release. I still don't think Last of Us is coming out next year either.
Okay, say them one more time for me.
Last of Us Part 2, Metroid Prime 4.
I need to like cycle them through as he's saying them.
Last of Us Part 2, Metroid Prime 4, Ghost of Tsushima, Halo Infinite.
I think that there's a legitimate possibility that they all four come out next year.
I would say Halo
That's
Infinite
not my
is
prediction.
Yeah. I say
That's
Halo
not my
Infinite is
prediction.
okay. What's your prediction?
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you twice, but
You're saying
you
which
guys are
one?
really not confident in Last of Us, huh? I think it's coming out next year.
Is that the one you're choosing? That's the one you think will release and the rest won't? We said Metroid Prime
I'm not gonna
4.
make you repeat them again. I'm trying to think.
Last of Us Part
Metroid,
2.
Yeah, let's go with Metroid. I think Metroid's a little... I hate this. Because I really do think... Yeah, Halo Infinite's probably the least likely, but I think it's possible they all four do.
Well, Gears is already confirmed for fall 2019. So they're not releasing Gears and Halo in the same fall. Not a chance.
Okay. Then yeah, never mind on that.
Yeah.
But the other three, I do think the other three could come out, and so yeah, I think Metroid. But Last of Us was revealed before that.
Yeah, I don't think Metroid has a chance of coming out next year. That one's way less likely than even Last of Us.
Okay, I'll do Last of Us. Sorry to dawdle.
No problem. So Last of Us is the one you do think is coming. The rest of them, no.
We'll go with that.
Okay. Next up, will there be an Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch exclusive, all in the top 7 2019 MPDs? I'll give you my answer first. I think yes.
Top
7.
Top 7, because top 10 is like, I just wanted to make it more interesting, you know. Top 10, whatever, top 7. So I said yes. I think Gears 5. Once again, I don't think Last of Us Part 2 is coming out, but just for the sake of the question, Gears 5, Last of Us Part 2, and Pokemon 2019, I think will all be in the top 7. So it's a two-part question. One, do you think there will be one from exclusive from each in the top 7? And the second part is, what do you think those 3 games will be?
All right, I got you.
Okay.
Only Nintendo, and it will be Pokemon.
Interesting. So you don't think Gears 5 is going to sell that well?
No.
No, okay.
And Sony doesn't really have anything next year that will be at that level.
I don't think Days Gone will sell particularly well.
Right. I mean, you think about God of War and Spider-Man. Spider-Man's in there this year, but God of War, I think, might not even end up in the top 7. It might be 6 or so. But
it's 5
those
right
are
now.
top.
Yeah.
Okay. But those are, like, frankly, God-tier games.
They also reviewed very well.
Yeah. So I don't see Days Gone or Dreams. Yeah, no way.
Jared, this is kind of this is a weird question. Do you remember if Halo 5 was in the top 10, top 7?
Yeah, it was the year it came out. I believe it finished number 3 or 4.
Oh wow. Sorry. So the question again is: are they all 3 going to have
An exclusive in the top 7? Yes.
No, they will not all 3. But of course, at least 1 or 2 of them will.
Yeah, and do you want to guess? Do you think it's Pokemon?
Yeah, I think you can absolutely say Nintendo, because Nintendo is like. There's a lot of nebulous stuff with all 3 of these that we're talking about, but I think you can guarantee that Nintendo's going to have a certain amount of exclusives because they have to.
Yeah.
Microsoft and Sony can survive without exclusives. Nintendo can't. So, there you go.
Yeah. Next up, last one, and then we'll get to our predictions. Will Pokemon 2019's Switch bundle feature custom Joy-Cons? And if so, what color? I said yes.
Oh, yeah.
I said yes, and colors of each version. So whatever the games are called, there will be one for that and one for the other.
Shit. Yeah,
So,
I think you're pretty spot on.
Okay.
At first, I'm just thinking yellow for Pikachu. They have yellow, though, don't they?
Yes.
They have like a kind of like a Pikachu-ish yellow already.
My one worry is if they come out with the basic black ones, but they have the etching like the Smash Brothers ones, but with Pokemon on them. Ugh.
Well, they don't have black currently. They have gray, so that would be nice to get some actual fucking black Joy-Cons.
Well, I mean, yeah, sorry, gray with black etching of like the Smash on it.
Well, I would like some black ones, Nintendo, please.
Ooh, black on black. Love that.
Black on black on black on black. Yes, Jared. The answer is yes. Am I allowed to say the same thing you did? That they're going to be, correlated to the versions? Because I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
No, Jordan, that's my answer. And Dom, you're the same, right? Yes, colors of each version.
Yeah, I mean, just like they just did with Eevee and Pikachu, right? Where each version had its own thing, right? I could be wrong actually on that.
They both had their own version, I think.
Okay.
Or no,
Yeah,
it came with the yellow and a brown Joy-Con. Remember?
Oh, it was like okay. So each version.
So you could say there's one
shit.
version,
it was
but
the
it's
piss
like
and shit Joy-Con combo.
Good
the piss
lord.
and shit Joy-Cons.
Good lord, they just teed that up for you, huh?
So yours could be different, Dom. You could say that it's one bundle, but it's a color. Each color of Joy-Con is. So I'm saying if it's Pokemon Black and White, a set of black, a set of white. But you could say, oh no, it's one white Joy-Con, one black Joy-Con. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's going to be separate.
Okay.
With the idea being like they're going to try to get people like
To buy
hardcore
both.
Pokemon fans to buy literally 2 Switches,
Yeah.
so they can get each of the sets of Joy-Cons or whatever.
Fucking A.
I think they do that shit.
So fucked up.
You know they could do that, and they're
You
probably
know
gonna have
they'll-
some fire colors too.
Right, and then they'll even sell a separate set, like separately from those Switch bundles that you can only buy the Joy-Cons that are even exclusive on there. So then you got to buy those too.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's get through our predictions so we can get out of here and enjoy the rest of the year. So my final predictions, I actually have 3. I told you guys you didn't have to have 3, but you could have up to 3. I'm going to go through mine first, and then we'll go through Jordan's and Dom's. First up, I think there will be a new Splinter Cell game announced before 2020. So at some point next year, we're going to hear about Splinter Cell. It's going to be announced. Not a rumor, actually announced, whether that's a Game Awards, E3, whatever. Next up. First of all, do you guys think that's likely? Or am I still riding the Splinter Cell boat too high? Or do you think that's actually a possibility?
I think you're spot on. I think that's likely.
Okay.
I was honestly stunned that we haven't got it already.
I know.
But yeah.
It's the only
At this
game...
point, it's getting towards like, what are you doing, Ubisoft? And especially like dropping all the hints, having Sam Fisher in Wildlands. You got to.
It's the only game from the 30-game Walmart Canada leak that hasn't been announced or anything. Every other game on that leak was announced or popped
That's
up or something.
that you're still referencing that, yeah.
The only game, dude, of like 30-some games.
That's a smart way to look at it, Jared.
What were you going to say, Dom? Sorry for cutting off.
Oh no, just that if it doesn't come out next year, they're certainly making it by now because we haven't been shutting the fuck up about it for a few years. So
Make it already. And Michael Ironside isn't getting any younger. I just want him to be in the game when they transition to whoever.
I want that E3 ending where it's the one more thing, the lights shut off, and then
Yeah.
and you see the green lights come on his night vision goggles. Like,
Dude, the great thing, there's no PlayStation at E3 next year, so that primes up Microsoft for the potential to have that on their stage, because Microsoft goes before Ubisoft. So,
you know, that green on black.
Oof.
That's Microsoft.
My second one, Microsoft will acquire at least 3 new studios. Pretty
3.
Yeah.
Damn, they're filling out that arsenal, huh?
I think probably 2 smaller studios, like a Compulsion Games type thing. Maybe a bigger studio, but I think at least 1 like mid to big studio and 2 like teeny boys, little boys.
Honestly, Jared, if they did 3 regardless of size next year, I say chill after that, because you're going to be shutting them down before too long if you're not careful. Because you know Sony did that, you know, like PS3 gen. They got to the point where they just had too many first party studios, and they had 1 year where it was like they were releasing a pretty decent to major first party release on the PS3 pretty much once a month, and some of them just got buried, man. You know, you just can't have that many.
I think this is the last year of like a major acquisitions. I think they still want to bring in a couple more, because remember, Microsoft had less than PlayStation even before the 5 studios they purchased. So I do still think they're starting at a lower barrier. I do think, I think this year is the final year to like go ham on it and then chill. My last one. We'll know more officially about the next Xbox than the PS5 by December 31st. So what I'm saying is by the end of next year, Xbox will have said more officially about the next Xbox than what PlayStation had said about PS5. So essentially saying we're not going to have a PS5 reveal in 2019 and Xbox is going to say something about the next Xbox.
So that's the end of yours?
Yeah.
Can we roll right into mine? Because it's similar, but it's different.
Go ahead. Hit us with your 3.
Mine is Microsoft fully unveils, you know, their big shindig before Sony unveils PS5 fully.
Okay, so it's similar. You think that Xbox is going to go first? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Xbox will not only announce their event, but also have it before Sony. So, and that's a big thing, man. You might not think about it at first, but that is a big deal, because they could either do it like they did with Xbox One and its TV, Call of Duty, you know, just bullshit about no use games and always online. They could really fuck themselves over, or they could come out racing, capitalize on the fact that they're on fire right now and Sony's colder than ice as far as, you know, these events that they're doing and getting hype and treating the community properly and having them on their side. So they could really take that momentum and just like force it down Sony's throat, or like I said, they could fuck themselves over, which I don't think they're going to do, because they have not done that once since Phil Spencer took over.
And the crazy thing, their showpieces for the next Xbox, because if it releases in 2020, that's a Forza Horizon year. So you're getting Forza Horizon 5 and potentially Halo Infinite has showpieces for your console, which are pretty good.
Yeah. Also, since you just mentioned that, this is something I was just thinking of. I've been dying for Bloodborne 2. That's a PS5 launch window game.
Hopefully, yeah.
That's why we're waiting.
My only... I think that game is in development. I don't know if it's by From Software. That's my only... I don't know.
I think that it is, because we just got a bunch of hints in Deracine, whatever the fuck.
Miyazaki came out actually recently and said that he was worried, and he actually talked to his team about potentially not having those in the game, because he was worried that they was going to have people think that they're currently working on Bloodborne 2. And he said...
No, he debunked that shit?
Yeah, dude.
Fuck! No fucking shit you should have been worried, asshole! It's directly referencing that shit. Fuck!
Sorry to burst.
That was so raw.
No, I'm glad you told me. I'm glad you told me, because I'm about to be going into Christmas time all happy and jolly, because this asshole just blatantly referenced... Oh my god.
But knowing the games he makes, it could be a troll. It could be a troll.
It better be a fucking troll. Because the next time he calls me wanting to talk about how big of a bitch Dom is, I'm going to have some words for him, okay? I don't care if he doesn't have the platinums on PS3.
What's your second prediction?
Okay.
Scrooge McJared.
Nintendo expands Labo. And I'll give you one better. I'll make it a little more specific, because that's probably going to happen, you know. Nintendo expands Labo at least 2 times as much new Labo stuff as they did this year.
So 4 sets.
So they had
because they had 2 sets, I think.
The 2 sets, right? Yeah. So they're gonna have at least 4. I could see 6.
Dude, a Toy Story 4 tie-in where you make Buzz Lightyear's wings would be dope.
Yeah, they're getting more open to partnerships. Bayonetta and Marvel Ultimate Alliance are good examples of that. So we'll see.
And your last one, or did you only have 2? Sorry, you didn't have to have 3.
No, I got another one.
Okay.
Oh, I got another one, baby. Here, I'll give you a 4th one. I'm about to put my foot up inside Miyazaki's ass. There's a prediction for you. Majora's Mask style game for either Zelda or Mario, but just for prediction's sake, I'm actually going to say for Mario. But what I mean by Majora's Mask style game is it's going to be made with the same engine, the same assets. It's going to be relatively similar to Mario Odyssey. But another good example of this would be Galaxy to Galaxy 2, Super Mario Galaxy to Galaxy 2, where they're using a lot of the same stuff, but they're pretty much honest about what it is. They're not trying to hide the fact. It's not like Far Cry 4 to Primal type of situation where you got to find out after the fact. So I think that's a really good possibility. And
Super Mario Conquest.
But that kind of sounds like
it's too
Mario.
dark. It's too dark for Nintendo.
Yeah,
I was just thinking of something that goes with Odyssey.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it could be Galaxy 2, Odyssey 2. But the fact that Zelda got not only a major story expansion, but like a fully fleshed out season pass with multiple content drops, and Mario just got the fucking balloon bullshit with Luigi. It's like, what? You guys better be doing something else. This can't be it. And I think we are getting a little too late in the game for them to just do a regular expansion. So yeah, I think we're going to get a Majora's Mask style game, and I think you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah.
For Mario Odyssey specifically.
Man, it better have a Ghost World. That's the only thing that was missing from Odyssey for me is like a Ghost World. You need a Ghost World.
Odyssey's obviously a spectacular game, but there's definitely some shit in there that's like, really? But
It did have a feudal Japan world, so that's dope. A plus points on that. Dom, hit us with your 3 predictions, or as many as you have.
I got some. I want to call these are hot predictions. You guys,
hot.
Hot.
Real
H-O-T,
quick, Jared, do you think that they are not doing? It's a possibility they're not doing Mario DLC because there's a billion fucking stars or moons in that game.
Yeah, I think
they feel like they've already done it.
Yeah.
Giving you that extra content.
I
just thought about that. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Yeah, I think that was the justification for it, probably.
Okay, that makes more sense now. So maybe not. Maybe my prediction is already fucking void. But
all right, open your windows, turn your AC on, get your ice cubes, because these are going to be hot predictions. All right, ready?
Okay, Mark Wahlberg.
All right, we get Nintendo Switch hardware revision, like we talked about earlier, and specifically, it will be. Functionally, it will look and function the same. Joy-Cons pop off. It slides in and out of the dock. The core features of this new version are going to be the whole system itself is lighter, and it has a better battery. 10, 20% better battery life, whatever. And it's going to be lighter. Calling that.
But so is it lighter in the same shell because it has to fit in the dock?
Yeah, so that's the reason I wanted to say it's going to be thinner, but that would make it incompatible with the current docks, so I don't think they'll quite do that. I think they'll
but
at least
you're
give us
talking
that.
about a company that released a console without the charger. They would release a new console and say buy a new dock. I could totally see that.
I'm gonna give in this one scenario. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, but you're right. They would do that kind of shit.
Well, and they're also the company that was making their handhelds bigger when everybody else was going smaller with like 3DS XL and stuff.
Yeah,
they're weird. They're wacky.
Yeah,
hard to predict, but that's what I'm gonna put down. So, new Switch version, no graphics or processing changes. Same screen resolution, all that, just better battery life and lighter.
Okay.
But Dom, you realize that like the battery is what makes these devices the heaviest, and in order to make better battery life, you usually have to have a bigger battery.
Or you have to have less demanding processors. So that's how they do it.
Possible.
They
but
put a new version.
Has computing come that much further in the tiny amount that it's been out?
Mobile
for
yes,
Nintendo.
That shit's,
yes.
Well, they use NVIDIA graphics. I forget what the actual thing is called.
NVIDIA is constantly,
updating,
on the forefront.
and especially mobile type processors, that advances really, really, really fast. Like
True.
phones. So, so that's why I think they do that. So yeah.
Possible.
Next prediction. Xbox Scarlet is not only announced but released next year, specifically the version that streams only.
Gotcha.
So I'm not talking about kind of what you mentioned, Jared, like their next console that with this fancy new AMD GPU. Yeah, that I think is off into 2020, maybe even 21. But next year, I think they put out their streaming box, and it's gonna be like $150 type of dude. And it's gonna stream games.
So really
roll
quick,
out that service.
I want to make this clear. We already have reports that they're releasing a version of the current Xbox One without a disk drive for streaming. But you're saying they're releasing the Scarlet version of that.
Well, that would be the same thing, I guess, then.
No, it's because
what Jared's talking about is not going to be able to play Xbox 2 or Scarlet games or whatever. And it sounds like your prediction is it's going to be able to play Scarlet games, Xbox 2 games, same thing. But they won't be out until the Scarlet actually comes out.
So just to clarify, there's reports that there's going to be a version of the current Xbox One that's going to be diskless, right? That's a thing. That's separate from the thing that Scarlet's going to have two versions or three versions: the normal console, the powerful console, and the streaming console.
Okay, yeah. So you guys were both right somehow, but I'm organized now. So yeah, there may be a diskless Xbox One next year. And damn it, okay.
I just don't want to.
Whatever, dude.
I want to set you up for your predictions, so you're not like, I'm saying something that might not be possible, depending on the information. And that's just a rumor. So you might still be correct.
Right.
And the diskless thing next year is the Scarlet, and the Xbox One thing is actually not true. It's just a weird rumor.
Then I'll set my prediction.
If you're gonna have multiple SKUs, wouldn't you want to put kind of your best foot forward, or at least like the solid foot? Like that's the least powerful of all three.
No, it's a diskless Xbox One S. It's not the original Xbox.
Oh, I was talking about the Scarlet version.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. I'm going to say this then to make it
Obviously
easy.
As fuck.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this to make it easy to say if I was right or wrong later on.
Okay.
Microsoft next year is going to release a version of an Xbox, whatever they call it, I don't know.
Okay.
And it will be able to stream games over the internet.
And it won't have a disk drive, and its sole purpose will be it'll be cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
So basically, you're just confirming the leak.
Or the rumor, or whatever, yeah. And that hits both bases, because if it's the Scarlet version, you're correct, and if it's the Xbox One S version, you're correct.
Exactly, so I'm giving myself
Sneaky little bastard.
Yeah. So that's what I'm calling. But I think the less likely part of it maybe is that it comes out next year. So I'm pretty sure about that being next year, especially with everyone's response to the Google Stream stuff and how well that works. So I think Microsoft is going to be ready to pull the trigger on their streaming shit, give us a nice little Roku-type Xbox.
And it'd be interesting to have a test with the Xbox One S version, so that way they know what works and doesn't for their next-gen version, So
there you go. So I guess the difference then between these two things we're potentially talking about, and I'm going off on a tangent now, is one would be the size of a Roku, would basically not have much processing power, so you couldn't download games to it. Whereas this diskless Xbox One S, you could still at least download games if you wanted to. That would be the difference. But anyway,
has a hard drive.
Yeah, I'm trying to sort it all out. But all right. Anyway,
it's a lot.
last prediction, and this is a little bit more fun. So in 2019, the narrative around Fallout 76 will change for the better, and here's how we'll quantify it. It will change so much for the better that Dan Stapleton of IGN will make sure someone from his staff does a re-review or an update review or whatever they call those things and puts out another score for it.
That they normally do for games of service games, yeah.
So you're looking at a turnaround the likes of which we've seen in Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, maybe.
No Man's Sky, a lot of games of service games.
So that would be a hard prediction to say. It didn't turn around that much better. So that's why I specifically put IGN will give it a new score that will be
higher,
even if only by 1 point than their previous score.
Yeah, I think it's safe for a games of service game. I think I don't want to go on a long tangent, and I want to finish the podcast, but I think obviously Bethesda has seen what people feel about the game, and they've heard it loud and clear, and obviously they've had some missteps. I think they'll do everything in their power to make sure they make that game better. Now, how much better that game gets, who knows? But I agree with you that next year that game will be in a better place than it is this year. So
that's what I got. Those were hot.
Yeah, I'm glad that all of us have 3 predictions this year, because then next year when we do this, we can actually count those as points since we're all on the same playing field. Interesting year for 2019. We don't have like a obviously Kingdom Hearts 3 is big in terms of fandom and stuff, but we don't have a Red Dead or a God of War this year yet, like on the schedule. Gears 5 is interesting.
Kingdom Hearts is nowhere near Red Dead.
Yeah. Gears 5 I think will be successful and stuff, but it's obviously it's an exclusive, and I don't know how well it will review or sell. So I'm interested to see what that game is that pops up that is going to be the big blockbuster for next year outside of like Call of Duty.
We may not necessarily have one, Jared, because we're in this transitory phase in between consoles.
Which is weird because like I think the last 2 years in gaming have been Rockstar solid. No pun there.
My gosh, yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening to our predictions for next year and looking back at our predictions for this year. Thank you guys for listening all year if you have, or watching on YouTube, however you intake the podcast. Can't wait to do another year with these two guys doing the gaming news and all these weird stories about what's happening. Yeah, hopefully we guys catch you early next year when we talk about our game of the year and our hopes and dreams for 2019. See you guys next time. Bye.